Welcome back to R for Economics. So in this video, what we're going to do is cover a little bit more on functions so we can get a better idea of what it looks like. So each function follows this format that it says function, and then it has an argument list, which could be variables, logical things, like is this object true or false? Is this condition true or false? And that could be changing the function. And the body is where all of the activity of your computations occur. So here you'd be doing your transformations, let's say multiplying things together or dividing by stuff. If we look at it written out, we can actually apply a function and give it a name. So we have a function name, and we assign that to this function, and then we put in our arguments and then the computations and other code. So let's look at some examples. So if we have x and y and w, we've defined them here. And here we want to say, well, let's clear our, so we have nothing in our environment. So we've deleted all the data. So we have no x, y, or w. And here's a function. It follows this is the name assigned to the function, and you give it an x and a y. And what it's doing is it's going to take x and add it to 2 times y to give it z. And then it's going to take the square of z and then print w. So if I tried running this by itself, it would say nothing's found. So I'm going to highlight the entire thing and hit enter. So as you can see, it just wrote it out and did nothing. But I also now have a function here in my environment variables. So now I can actually give it arguments. So it needs 2 arguments. So if I tried giving it just 1 argument, it's going to give me an error saying, oh, you're missing the y argument. Oh, what? So now I have a y argument, and I hit enter. Okay, and we can look at our function using the fix command that we had in the previous lecture. So what about these? I've used x and y and z. Oh my goodness, but I have them named up here at the top part. So let's run all these. So these things are all defined, and we can see those as environment variables. And then if we define our function with x, y, and z, what's going to happen? Are these ones going to get plugged in here no matter what? Well, let's find out. So here we're going to say, okay, 3 and 1. And the answer is no. It's still going to provide me with the exact same answer as it had before, right? 1 times 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So independent of what the variables are, variables defined inside of a function or as arguments of functions are unique. So this is actually the name of the argument x and argument y. So I could actually say x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 1. And then I get my 25. I could change those around and say y is equal to x. As long as these are unique, it will now switch them around and say 2 times 3 and plus 1 all squared would give me w. Next, there's the return command. So the return tells a function to return whatever I put in here. Okay, whatever I put in here, it will return. So let's see that in action. Let's put return w. Okay, and now if I prepare my function, enter, it'll give me the 49. Well, that doesn't seem like it's any different than what it was before when I had the w there. But let's change this to z. So z under this should be 6 plus 1 is 7. So if we've changed the function, 7. So now it's returning z independent of what the last line says. So the default, if there was no return, would be the last print, the last line here, and it's usually a print of what you're outputting. Otherwise, it's going to be the return whatever you have as your return thing that you're returning from your objective. So now it's going to produce whatever every single time. Now, this means that we can return items. So even with complicated functions put in here, we can return the exact item we want. And we could actually return a list if we so desired. So I would need to bind this. So with the combine, and it says whatever, okay. Okay, so we can actually return objects. We can also assign our result. So we could say Z is assigned to that. And now we see that Z is now a character string of whatever and okay in our environment variables. Okay, and all the way R is built is it's built on the basics, and then it's built on functions. And these functions are then put into libraries. Our libraries are groups of functions, and then packages are collections of libraries. And this is how everything's built up from the basics, or the base level items, of simple arithmetic and simple character string recognitions. Okay, and we'll see you in the next